Thank you so much for joining us here on JoyNews Prime. President John Mahama has pledged to work closely with the Ghana Journalists Association to restore Ghana's reputation as a model of press freedom, not only in West Africa but across the continent. During a courtesy call by a GJA delegation, the president expressed concern about the consistent decline on the World Press Freedom Index. Now, Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba has more in the following report.
The delegation from the Ghana Journalists Association was made up of GJA executives led by its president, Albert Jumfo, former GJA president Gifty Afenyidazi, veteran journalist Kwesi Pratt, and others were all present. GJA President Albert Jumfo urged government to tighten legislation against those who attack journalists, stressing that current laws are too weak to serve as a deterrent.
Your Excellency, the assault on journalists, respectfully, we entreat you to evoke your executive powers to enact a law to empower the security agencies to protect journalists. Since most of these attacks are premeditated and must be treated as aggravated offense. If we continue to treat all assault or attacks on journalists as misdemeanor, Your Excellency, it will not deter or serve as deterrent to others.
He further called for compensation for JoyNews journalists Lateef Idrisu, Erastus Asaridonko, and Ohemin Tewi, along with other media practitioners who have been assaulted in the line of duty.
We want to appeal to your good self for compensation for such practitioners or journalists who had suffered injuries in the line of duty in the form of assault. We have Mr. Lateef Idrisu, who has been assaulted twice, one by the police, another one by tax of MPP. And I want to commend you, Excellency, that recently, with your intervention, the perpetrators of the recent attack on Lateef Idrisu, in fact, one of the suspects was arrested, arraigned before court, and was remanded.
President John Mahama says he is committed to collaborating with the GJA to ensure Ghana reclaims its pride of place in global press freedom rankings.
We've seen a consistent decline in our ranking, international rankings, and that is an issue of concern for us. And so we need to find a way of, one, ensuring that people, when they do that kind of thing, face sanctions or are punished. Because once there's no deterrent, they continue to do it.
President Mahama also announced that his government will establish a forum for dialogue between journalists and security agencies aimed at educating officers that journalists are partners in national development, not adversaries.
President John Mahama has received comprehensive investigative report on electoral violence from the 2020 and 2024 elections, promising perpetrators will be punished if wrong is found and compensation for victims. He said the report was submitted to his office last week following extensive investigations into the violent incident that marred Ghana's recent electoral processes.
I asked the IGP in the early days when I assumed the presidency to investigate the violence in 2020 and 2024. I wish to inform you that last week I received the investigative report on the two incidents, and they've detailed and catalogued everybody who was affected by the violence and what the circumstances were that led to the violence. We've handed it over to the Attorney General, so the Attorney General is going to go through, and if there's a need to hold some people culpable and bring them to book, the Attorney General will do that. But in addition, we have given him the terms of reference to look at what adequate compensation would be for people who have been the victims of violence, including those who died. Their families are still there, and then those who were, some have been injured and are living with injury.
In less than 12 hours, 12 candidates, all within the National Democratic Congress, will battle for the Tamale Central Parliamentary slot within the NPP, announcing it will not contest the seat. The stakes have shifted inward, making the NDC primary itself the real battleground. There's more in the following report.
The Tamale Central NDC primaries are set to take place tomorrow at the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium. 12 aspirants, including 9 men and 3 women, are contesting for the party's ticket. The aspirants have been campaigning tirelessly, making promises to the delegate and outlining their vision for the constituency. The primaries are said to be keenly contested because of the caliber of people who have put themselves up for the contest. They include 2 professors, 2 doctors, 2 lawyers, a diplomat, engineers, among others.
JSS level, when they were going to write the BEC, the late honorable will organize extra classes for them to attend. I'm going to continue that one. Then I'll start my own at the SS level too. So when they're going to write SSC, we're going to do that. I'm going to institute an endowment fund known as the Honorable Murtala Mohammed Education Fund to be able to sponsor people, brilliant students within the constituency who are not able to afford money to attend school.
The other candidates, the other people that are being thrown onto the constituency indicate to me, Martina, you have been in this constituency. You knew the way I serve the people. But unfortunately, somebody somewhere else doesn't recognize that sacrifice that I made on behalf of the party. But I think what is important is that is the constituents, is the delegates who will make that final determination.
Contested for Parliament in 2019. So this is not something new to me. And so before even coming here, I assessed myself and I confidently can say I am qualified. In fact, before today, the regional secretary of the party sat on radio station openly and mentioned that Dr. Sidifta is overly qualified because he knows me. I have worked for the party. I have put my life on the line for the party.
Deputy Northern Regional Secretary of the party, Saka Ziblin, has been detailing arrangements, including security arrangements, for the event.
Yesterday, we had met with the joint security team, and they are providing us with 400 security personnel, about 150 military, then about 100 policemen and women are going to help us to provide security at the stadium tomorrow. And what is going to happen is that we want to finish the election so early. So we've divided the polling stations into 4. So we'll be having 4 polling stations. So what will happen is that there's going to be 1 entrance and 1 exit. All delegates will use the VIP entrance and they will sit at the red on top of the stadium.
Well, joining us is the Deputy Regional Secretary, Saka Ziblin. Grateful for your time. Tell us, how prepared are you for tomorrow's primaries?
Yes, thank you very much. I can tell you on authority that the NDC Regional Secretariat in the Northern Region, we are prepared and to ensure that tomorrow we have a free and fair and transparent election. And for that matter, we partner with the security services to provide adequate security for the stadium tomorrow. So what is going to happen is that they're going to have 2 entrances, 1 entry and 1 exit. And military is going to ensure that if you come in and you don't have accreditation, you will not be allowed into the stadium. So what it means is that we have about 1,551 delegates. Because we want to ensure that we finish the election so early, we've divided the polling stations into 4. So each polling station will cover no less than 420 and above, such that by 2, we would have been able to finish with voting of the election. And what we are also saying is that if you don't have observer card or accreditation, you will not be allowed into the inner perimeter of the voting grounds. And we made it clear to all the aspirants that they will be coming with only 2 of their aides to help them to ensure that the voting process takes smoothly. And there's not going to be any campaigning on the election ground. No, that one we made it clear to them. And another thing that we've agreed that if you are going to vote, the police or the military will take your phone. You go and cast your vote. After casting your vote, you come back and take your home. Because what we've observed is that people have promised them goodies. So they will tell them, go and vote, take a snap picture, and come back and take something. That one, we are not going to compromise with it. We've made it clear to all of them. But we can assure the general public that, inshallah, by the close of 4 p.m. tomorrow evening, we would have elected the next parliamentary candidate to lead Tamale Central, who is going to fit in the good shoes of our late brother, Honorable Murtala Mohammed. That one we can assure you on that. So we are ever ready, and we are saying that anybody who is coming from national, if you need accreditation, reach out to the Union Secretariat. We'll provide you with the what? With accreditation. The police is ready, the military is ready. So anybody who is coming there to create any mayhem, then you have the police or the military to what? To sit with. So we are ready, and we can tell you that everything is in order. And by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, we are saying that we want all the delegates to be seated in the stadium, so that by 9 a.m., inshallah, election will start. And we hope to close election by 4 p.m. before it's late.
Okay, all right.
So far, everything is ready. So far, we are ready, and everything is okay.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Away from politics, some officials of the Ghana Education Service colluded with invigilators and candidates to cheat during the 2025 Basic Education Certificate examination. One of such schools is the Derby Avenue RC Basic School in Accra, where as little as 60 Ghana cedis was enough to allow candidates smuggle mobile phones into the exam hall, use artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, and even receive solved questions directly from invigilators. Here are excerpts from our recent Hotline documentary produced by Francisca Encho, read to you.
The Derby Avenue RC Exams Center, on the first day of the examination, while preparing exam materials for candidates to commence writing, invigilators were invited by the supervisor to a meeting with the headmistress of the host school, Derby Avenue RC. She announced a daily 60 cedis gift for each invigilator for the duration of the examination.
We said we have exactly for you 60 cedis a day. It is 50 Ghana a day. What we decided to have 20 cedis. So 60 Ghana. Should I give it to you, or we should be making it every day 60 Ghana, every day 60 Ghana, so that you know we are stated for you for the week, because we are having space. So which one?
We would like to take this daily. Yes. What is it?
So after the day, you bring it.
Yes.
Candidates were also instructed to give their invigilators money at the end of every day's examination. At the St. George's Anglican Basic School Exams Center, payment was made in bulk. The supervisor handed envelopes containing 400 cedis to each invigilator.
GS has not paid. It is WAEC that pays this money to the candidate, because it is factored into the fee that is paid from the state to us to relate to the invigilators and supervisors. So any payment that is made in the course of the examination to an invigilator, a supervisor, is illegal. It is not coming from WAEC. WAEC does not pay money in the course of the examination. We don't do that. You finish and then you submit your claims, and then they are worked out properly, and then the money is sent in bulk to the supervisor, and then he in turn would also release him to the teachers who took part in the invigilation.
Not many schools wrote the final paper, so for the centers investigated, the exams ended on the 17th of June 2025. Days earlier, candidates at Derby Avenue were informed to prepare financially for an offertory called the Aseda Offertory, which will be collected before the start of the final papers at the center. This offertory was meant to thank invigilators for their assistance in the examination. On the morning of the final paper, the invigilator who announced the Aseda Offertory the previous day, who later got the nickname Sir Aseda, would move from one exam hall to another with a box for collection of the offertory. candidates were asked to pay 5 cedis or above. The total amount collected was shared among the invigilators. Each invigilator received at least 60 cedis as their share in the unspecified total sum raised in the Aseda offertory.
How much is that? That one we will give you some after the next one. So this one is as I want to give this.
The full Hotline documentary airs here on the Joy News channel on Monday, 8th of September on Joy Prime as well as on Joy FM. Well, to other stories now, the West African Examination Council is sounding the alarm over widespread malpractice in this year's WASSCE. So far, more than 16 individuals and institutions have been arrested, sentenced or sanctioned for their roles in the irregularities. According to WAEC's Public Relations Officer John Kapi, the offences ranges from collusion to impersonation to the circulation of leaked exam materials. Stephen Mensah has more in this report.
16 suspects, including students, teachers and invigilators, have been arrested in what the West Africa Examination Council describes as acts that compromise the integrity of the WASSCE and undermine public confidence in the education system. Already, 2 impersonators have been jailed for 6 and 8 months. WAEC warns this is only the beginning as more arrests are expected. John Kapi is the head of public affairs.
The Council has noted with concern a number of cases of irregularity at examination centers across the country. As part of our commitment to upholding the integrity and credibility of our examinations, we have deployed a number of staff as well as our own specially trained personnel to monitor the examination centers. Our monitoring teams have unearthed a series of irregular activities at a number of the examination centers. These include, but not limited to, the following. 1. 2 persons were arrested for impersonation at Ghana College, Kaswa. Obviously, their entries will be nullified. There will be no results for these candidates. To have somebody impersonate you is equally criminal, and so they are also being sought after by the police.
The council also confirmed that government has settled all financial obligations for this year's exams. Chief Finance Officer Cornelius Azuma says budgetary allocations for both the writing and marking of scripts have been released.
This year, we've been able to receive all the fees, and as we speak, we started paying our examiners' claims.
Meanwhile, WAEC reports no incidents of violence in hotspot areas during the exams. Stephen Mensah's report read to you.
Let's now take you to the Ashanti region, where a 20-year-old was stabbed to death at Ashanti New Town in Kumasi early Thursday morning. The circumstances under which the individual was stabbed remains unclear, but friends believe the act is a reprisal of an earlier fight over a plastic chair at a game center. The family of the deceased are calling for the arrest of the suspect. Nana Ojima has more in the following report.
Eyewitnesses say the incident occurred in the early hours of Thursday when the deceased was on his way to attend nature's call at a public facility. According to them, he was found in a pool of blood, struggling for breath after being stabbed in the neck. He was pronounced dead at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. Speaking to the media, Georgina Yeboah, mother of the deceased, recounted the tragic moment she heard the news.
Sister be jina ho tie tiem bright na ewu ayi wo so obi ya boys bi atwitwa boy bi sekai wo.
I was on my way to the market when I saw some women raising an alarm and called for help. They had stopped a car, but the driver wouldn't pick him to the hospital because of the blood. I saw it and decided to go closer. That was when I realized it was my son, Bright.
According to friends of the deceased, on Wednesday, the deceased was engaged in a misunderstanding with another individual over a plastic chair at a snooker game center. Both young men were laying claim to a plastic chair provided for customers of the game center. Although the dispute was initially resolved, eyewitnesses suspect the other party for the attack.
Some boys came close to tell me about an incident at a snooker game center. They tell me one of the men took a seat on which Bright was seated. Bright wanted to take it back and it degenerated into a fight. The guy threatened him and they suspect he is the one who stabbed him in the morning.
Police are yet to issue an official statement on the incident, while investigations are underway to apprehend the suspects. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumase.
Away from that, MultiChoice Ghana has been directed to reduce the cost of its subscription packages by September 21 or face a total shutdown following a regulatory standoff between the National Communications Authority. The directive announced by Communications Minister Sam George comes after weeks of tension between the pay TV provider and the regulator, which had earlier imposed a 10,000 Ghana cedis daily fine on the company for failing to submit a detailed cost breakdown of its bouquet. The following report has more.
Committee, which will be chaired by the Communications Minister Sam George, will bring together representatives from the Ministry, the NCA, MultiChoice Ghana and MultiChoice Africa. The minister explained that by September 21, 2025, the committee is expected to present a concrete pricing structure that lowers the cost of DSTV and GoTV packages.
MultiChoice has requested a 30-day window for the committee to arrive at what percentage of reduction will be achieved. So let's be clear. They have finally accepted that there will be a reduction. Now they want us to discuss the level of reduction. I believe, as minister, that we do not need 30 days. 14 days is enough for us to reach this decision, inclusive of weekends. Therefore, the committee has a strict 14-day mandate, inclusive of weekends, to conclude its work and present a suitable price reduction structure for the people of Ghana by the 21st of September 2025.
Sam George also announced that government has appointed KPMG as transaction advisor to assess the future of AT Ghana, including options for establishing a second strong operator to balance the mobile market.
Government has appointed KPMG to act as transaction advisor to provide guidance on the future of AT with the goal of establishing a second strong operator to address the imbalance in Ghana's mobile market. The transaction advisor will also access government's shareholding in Telecel Ghana towards achieving the same goal. The transaction advisor has been given a strict 60-day timeline to complete its work due to the urgency of the situation.
The firm will also evaluate government shareholding in Telecel Ghana as part of the review. Initially, MultiChoice requested 30 days to work through the process after the previous deadline of September 6. However, the ministry cut the timeline to just 2 weeks, insisting that Ghanaians should not wait longer to see relief on their bills.
Away from the following, President John Dramani Mahama's amnesty for 998 inmates nationwide. 21 prisoners have now walked free from the WAS Central prisons. They were officially released and reunited with their families, many of whom had waited anxiously at the facility. And officials say the pardoned inmates benefited from rehabilitation and skills training programs while in custody. Rafiq Salam has more.
The WAS Central prisons was filled with mixed reactions as 21 inmates were released to freedom of unrestricted movement. Both parents and inmates were filled with joy and happiness as the latter had served half of their jail term and were now reunited with their loved ones. The decision announced in a statement by the presidency was made upon the recommendation of the Prison Service Council and in consultation with the Council of State exercising the presidential prerogative of mercy under Article 72, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution. APO's Regional Commander of the Ghana Prison Service, Deputy Director of Prisons, DDP, Alhaji Tasembedi Osman Esquire, narrated how the amnesty process started, resulting in the release of 8 of the inmates.
21 of them qualified, but as we will see now, 8 of them are now being discharged this morning. Someone may ask, why is the 8 discharged out of the 21? Most of them were serving their sentence as the months roll on. So from 1st July up to this time, most of them have completed their 1/3 remission. 13 of them had gone home before the amnesty letter came.
He urged ex-convicts to make good use of the skills learned at the prison and appealed to the parents and the community members to embrace and have their quick integration into the society.
We have this weaving of smokes. Some of them we took them through, some of them weaving, some of them too were into tailoring. So we're able to provide some of them with these looms so that when they go home, they'll be able to be on their own.
One of the ex-convicts was grateful to President John Dramani Mahama for the amnesty, stating that his time at the prison has taught him a lesson which will serve as a guide not to commit any crime that will return him to the prison.
My name is part of those who they say they will risk, and if I go, I will never commit again to Kenya.
A brother of one of the ex-convicts, Idrisu Abdul Raouf, was equally grateful to the president for the amnesty.
I will thank the President John Dramani Mahama for this short hard work he has done to our brothers as well.
There was joy and happiness as the ex-convicts were free to go. Some were carried away on motorbikes, whilst others walked to their homes with smiles. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Now let's shift our attention to some other stories.
JoyNews is learning that the 2024 presidential candidate of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Kofi Akpaloo, has been arrested and is in custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office for more than 48 hours. He is under investigation for fraud, financial loss to the state, dissipation of public funds, falsification of document, and money laundering. Although he has been granted bail to the sum of 10 million Ghana cedis and two sureties, he says that he will be joining us shortly here on JoyNews Prime just to give us a sense of what we should expect and just to hear more from his legal team on this. Away from that to other stories, we'll bring you that later.
Well, cybersecurity firm Innove Africa has raised concerns over increasing cyber attacks targeted at businesses in the country. Now, according to Innove Africa, almost 5,000 cases of these attacks have been recorded in 2024. The chief executive officer of Innove made this revelation at the stakeholders' engagement here in Accra. And Darcy has more in the following report.
According to data from Innove Africa, Ghana is increasingly becoming a hotspot for cybercrime in the sub-region. The company said in 2024 alone, over 4,000 cyber attacks have been targeted at different businesses across Ghana.
The attack vectors are local, okay? You know, in 2024, we recorded 4,753 DDoS attacks in Ghana. DDoS is denial of service. Okay, it's one of the most easiest form of attacks. Okay,
General Manager for Innovari in charge of English-speaking countries has cautioned individuals and entities to take precaution against such threats.
Okay, so looking at the threat landscape and the volume of attack that Ghana as a country and its institutions are facing is really very alarming. There's an increase in ransomware attack, there's an increase in phishing attack. So every hand has to be on deck. The public and the private sector, you know, the public sector supporting with the fund, the private sector supporting with the expertise. All hand has to be on deck to tackle this and help reduce that volume of attack and provide a mitigation for any form of attack to the country. And when it comes to the people needs to be educated. Education is very important. Security awareness training, simulations are very important.
Security consultant Richard Kwame Esumeni has called on the National Cyber Security Authority to fully implement measures to address the situation.
Away from that, the Ghana Medical and Dental Council has arrested a group of individuals posing as medical doctors and operating illegally in parts of Accra. The arrest followed weeks of surveillance and intelligence gathered after reports of unlicensed practitioners endangering the lives of unsuspecting patients. According to the council, the suspects had been running unregistered clinics and offering medical services without the required professional training or certification. We'll hear from the council shortly, but first here are excerpts of that statement coming up on your screens. It reads that these are the individuals that they have apprehended based on the Medical and Dental Council checks. Kate Baidu of Osag Medical Center in the Greater Accra region, Ebenezer Kupsin E&E Medical Center at Gomwa Afranse, Innocent Togbevi Mighty Clinic, Medina, second arrest since 2017, meaning that he has been apprehended before, went back to practice, and then he's been apprehended again. Also, Ebenezer Sapong Good Care Medical Center at Bokum. Also, they go on to state that this is a breakdown of some of the complaints they've received so far. In the year 2025, they've received 28. Now for quarter 1, 9, for quarter 2, 10, for quarter 3, 9. So that's like the quarterly breakdown of this 28 complaints they have received so far, the Medical and Dental Council. So far, they are breaking down the disciplinary cases before them. They say 20 disciplinary cases have been resolved last year, 18 active cases involving 22 practitioners under review by the disciplinary committee. They state that 9 ongoing investigations is underway, 2 of which are with the police. So far, there are 6 pending court cases, 4 at the Circuit Court and 2 at the High Court. 3 convictions have been secured, they tell us, and 2 ongoing trials, 1 in absentia. Children involved in 1 case referred to the social protection, social welfare, they tell us in their statement. So these are updates as regards to prosecution and dealings based on the Ghana Medical Dental Council checks.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Medical and Dental Council has arrested a group of individuals posing as medical doctors and operating illegally in part of Accra. The arrest followed weeks of surveillance and intelligence gathering after a report of unlicensed practitioners endangering the lives of unsuspecting patients. According to the council, the suspect had been running unregistered clinics and offering medical services without the required professional training or certification.
Arrested 4 quacks, and they are undergoing further investigations pending prosecution with the police. We have also had practitioners present to us forged credentials. We indicated that we have had 4 such cases of forgery of qualifications. In 1 case, there was a forgery of qualification from Ireland and Nigeria, and this related to the spouse of a diplomat. These things know no bounds. and therefore vigilance is the key. We trust, but we verify. We had a fraudulent credential, certificate presented to GTEC for, assessment. But because of our collaborative work with GTEC, we were able to alert them that that document was not genuine and it was fraudulently procured, and so that they would take action in respect of that. We also had one case of a forged permanent certificate. This was a practitioner who had not yet finished the requirements of the provisional license to get onto a permanent register, that had gone to clone a permanent register and then put her credentials in there for purposes of acquiring a job somewhere when she was not due to get that. Then there was one case of forgery of examination results. This was an individual who didn't pass our licentiate examinations.
Well, let's take you back to our earlier story. We told you that Kofi Akpaloo of the Liberal Party is in Iyoko custody. And joining us now is Director of IT and Elections for the Liberal Party, Prince Gazi. Just give us updates on what exactly is happening. I understand that Mr. Akpaloo is still in Iyoko custody. Is that the case?
Yes.
And what charges have been brought before him based on the briefing you received from his lawyers?
Well, based on the briefing I've received, I've not really been briefed with the current charges. I spoke with a lawyer 2 days ago before I traveled, and then he told me that we are working around the clock to resolve the matter. And initially, we put out a publication because the way he was picked up at Kumasi was not done the right way, and we felt like we could have taken subtle measures. Also, when we even followed up at the Kumasi office, they told us they were flying him over, until later we realized that they were even taking him to Accra by road. So there was a lot of, I don't know, hide and seek. I think they were just trying to delay the process so that maybe they would just let him stay over for the weekend or something, which is very unlawful. So as we speak, our lawyers are working on it and then trying to resolve the matter.
And then as a political party, what exactly are your concerns? Because we understand he has been granted bail. Is he at home now? Have you met all the bail conditions yet?
No, he isn't home yet. And then as a political party, we are solidly behind him. We feel like these things are just normal and then they are just blown out of proportion. He's not the first person to be invited by Yoko. And then he's not the first person to walk out of the Yoko office with all allegations dropped. And at the end of the day, if he's helping with investigations, it doesn't necessarily mean he's the one directly involved.
So you haven't met the bail conditions yet?
That I can't speak to because at the moment, as I said, I'm not in the country.
Okay, thank you so much for your time here on JoyNews Prime.
Well, you're still watching JoyNews Prime. We'll take a break and return with showbiz.
And I'll be leaving you, but see you next week.
Becky, tonight, what we have?
We have in the news Shatta Wale. He has a quick message. I'll tell you all about it after this message.
Cape Coast. Someone has happy me bow. The luckiest of fashion on Moyano, maybe 5th September. Maybe so Biambra. That was stadium. It's going to be mad. Maybe 5th September. And what is a Shatta and then my car, I love you, man.
So the king of dancehall, Shatta Wale, is set to headline the luckiest Ogwafetu Afasha Orange Friday event this weekend at the Robert Spencer Sports Stadium Central Region. He will share the stage with sensational Afrobeat star Wendy Shea, Akoto Perry, and Nero X. The Orange Friday in the city of Cape Coast is the best part of the week-long Ogwafetu Afasha Festival. This is the biggest street party in Ghana as thousands of Cape Coast locals, tourists, and Ghanaians living abroad show up to celebrate the Ogwa culture. The celebration will witness cool costumes, big floats, and Superfan Parade. The Orange Friday Carnival started as a promo by a local radio station back in 2013, but it's now a huge deal, mixing old traditions with business and lots of fun. Orange Friday has quickly become one of the hottest attractions during the Fetu season. People from all walks of life flock to experience the vibrant festivities. We have highlights from the event. Well, so Cape Coast seems to be the place to be this weekend. We won't be able to be there, but the team from Adom is in there. So we'll be bringing you more details from Cape Coast on Monday. But Stonebwoy has unveiled a full track list for his upcoming extended play, The Torture, which is set for release later this month, September. The 9-track project includes the lead single, Giddy Giddy, along with Send Them a Prayer, Torture, and Outside, Lifestyle, and Deeper. It also features 2 collaborations, Susuka with B-Strap and Yao Tog, and Hoseto with Agbeshi and Kenny Eyes. The announcement comes after weeks of anticipation. On 14th of August, the global music star teased the project with a striking motion graphic of a burning ankh. We cannot wait for The Torture, the EP. I know you cannot wait. Actually, I love the Send Them a Prayer song on that. You can, look out for your own favorites as well as he sets to release this particular EP. But something else that you should be expecting this weekend whilst the Ogua Afasha is happening is in London. Kofi Kinata will be live in London, Dominion Centre, and he's been giving fans what exactly to expect in London this weekend. Dominion Centre is the place to be this weekend. If you're in London. I know you can fly, to London. Your brother is in London. You should call him to attend the Kenata event. Sure. Buy tickets for us. We beg you.
No problem. He's gonna be there.
Do you have like a favorite Kofi Kenata song or something?
The one about Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, he has a song like that?
Yeah, say Jehovah for
oh, yeah. I'm not sure it's Susu. No, it's not Susuka.
Yeah.
Jehovah for about then you're running away.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. You put me on the spot right there. Like I couldn't figure out the song. Thank you so much for having me. It's a beautiful Friday.
Yeah, it's been a great week here on Joy News. That's
we're sending prayers to everybody watching.
Nyamisumpa.
Well, Derek apparently has his own favorite of Kofi Kinata. He intends to play his favorite. But if you can get, Carlos's favorite for him, we will be glad.
On a Friday like this.
On a Friday like this. We should do what Carlos wants. Just do what Carlos wants. But please log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the news. We're so grateful that you could join us the whole of this week. Business will be up next, obviously, and sports will follow next. Oh, that's the song. And you don't know how to sing it.
Yeah.